Hey everyone, today's challenge is to make a bird box like this one or this one here. It's a great way to encourage birds to get into the garden. It's also an activity that everyone can get stuck into. Just make sure that you get supervision for the little ones when you're doing the drilling and the sawing. So let's get stuck in. So what you need to build the box is a plank of wood that is at least 1.4 meters long, saw, a little bit of rubber, a bit of rubber strip. This is to seal the top of the roof. You can use a bit of pond liner or some rubber from an inner tube or anything else you've got lying about. You need a tape measure, pencil, screwdriver and some screws and a drill. Now the first thing you want to do is measure out the length on the plank. What you'll see from the bird box diagram is that all of the cuts that you're going to be making are 90-degree cuts apart from the two sides, which you can cut diagonally. So after you've marked out the measurements along the wood, you can use the edge of the saw to make a nice 90-degree angle and then score along the lines that you're going to need to cut. So you can do that, and that's what it should look like all the way down the wood. It's also worth just marking out and naming the different sections just so you don't get confused when they're all cut. So once you've got all your measurements done, it's time to saw. So remember, get supervision from an adult. And here we go. So once you've done your sawing, you should have ended up with a stack of wood like this with the names of the different sections on the back. What you need to get first is the back plate and the two side plates, and we're going to drill those together. So depending on what type of wood you have, you might be able to just drill straight through into the wood. If it's harder wood, if it's not pine or softwood, you might have to drill holes, but otherwise line up your screws and drill straight into the side. So once you've drilled the side on, it should look like this, and the next section to screw on is the base plate, which you'll fit between the two sides and drill from the sides. So after you've got the base plate on, you need to make a decision about what kind of bird box you want to make. So it will depend on what birds you've seen in the garden, whether you've seen coal tits or great tits or sparrows or robins or wrens. You can make this box suitable for any of them, but there are slight changes. So the robins and the wrens like an open fronted box. So what you would need to do is just cut your front plate in half, and then that will be suitable for robins or wrens. If you want to make it for house sparrows, tree sparrows, blue tits, coal tits, great tits, then you're going to need to put a hole in the front, but they each like a slightly different hole. So 25mm for blue tit or coal tit, 28mm for great tit, or 32mm for house sparrows or nuthatches. So when we get to that stage, you'll just need to drill that hole size for the birds that you want to attract. So once you've decided what bird box you're making, you screw your front plate on, either the half plate for the robins or wrens or the full plate for the others. Just make sure that the roof will fit nice and snugly and there's not much of a gap at the top. So we should be nearly there with the bird box, just the roof to come. So you want to screw your roof in place. Just use a couple of screws because you will need to clean the bird box out in the autumn, so you'll need a way of getting the roof off relatively simply. After you've got your roof on, you want to attach your strip of rubber, and it wants to go across the back, so 3 screws into the back plate and 3 screws into the roof. This will keep it nice and dry, and also it will mean when you are cleaning it out, the roof can just be lifted up and hinged in that way. Once you've got your rubber hinge in place, you just need to drill the hole in the front. You can either use a jigsaw, you can use a flat wood bit, or you can use a hole saw like this that I've got. Say hello, Freya. So the hole should be at least 125mm from the bottom of the bird box, and it should be in the middle. So now we've got the hole in the front, the last 2 things to do to actually complete the box are drill some drainage holes in the bottom, 3 or 4, so that if any moisture does get in there, it can drain away, and also a couple of holes to attach the bird box to the side of your house or a tree or wherever you're going to attach it. So a couple of holes here, a couple of holes in the bottom section there, and then the drainage holes. So if you've got this far, well done. You should have something that looks a little bit like this. A final word on placement. So the box should be at least 3 meters off the ground, 10 feet, facing somewhere between north and east to avoid it getting too hot or too wet. Avoid placing it in direct sunlight, and don't put it over a doorway or a well-used path because the birds may get disturbed. And if you're lucky, something might move in soon. Certainly if you leave it for a season, you're likely to get something to move in. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like, share, follow us, comment, and if you're able to send a picture of any bird boxes that you've actually made, we would be very, very happy to see them. Thanks a lot from the Epic team. Cheers.